My wife asked for separation, citing that I was a man-child. I admit, I would rather play video games than do chores. I was very forgetful about everything. I wasn't that involved with our kids. Her nagging made me more stressed out. She finally had enough and kicked me out. I just felt a sense of relief. No more nagging, no more stress. Nothing. When I got to my apartment, I cleaned everything. I stopped forgetting things. It made sense to wash dishes now, and it made sense to make my bed. I felt the urge to clean. It was like I was a different man. I was more involved with my kids, and it made sense now to pack lunch for them, to read them bedtime stories. Whereas in our marriage, I just felt burdened. I still played video, but it was not like the addiction I used to have. It's like my problems and all the mental blocks just ended overnight. I looked online for more advice on life after divorce and was told to go to the gym. I did it once. The gym is not for me. I do some jumping jacks and stuff for 15 minutes a day and eat healthy. I have lost 30 pounds in 4 months. I've been dipping my feet in dating too, and I have, or had, a kind of friends with benefits situationship. I'm taking things casual for now. All in all, my life is going on an upward trajectory. I've realized that I'm not a man-child, more so my wife is a bad partner, and that's why I used to seek comfort in video games and felt no motivation in life. When I separated from her, I became better almost instantly. My wife has seen my change and wants to get back together. I was wishy-washy in rejecting her at first, but I've made up my mind now and told her that she's better off without me, which is actually true. She wasn't wrong in leaving me, for her and me. She will not take that for a reason. She insists that she'll decide what's good for her and that I should return. I've been very nice while rejecting her offer. It's not like I'm being an idiot to her. She just wouldn't let it go. Why is she taking it all on her ego? She asked me why, and I told her she was truly better off without me. She found out about my friend with benefits, most likely because I posted a pic of us hiking together and contacted her to say that I'm a married man with kids and she shouldn't become a homewrecker. My friend with benefits told me that she doesn't want drama in her life and ended things with me, which sucks pretty bad. I don't know why my wife is being like that. I've been very nice but firm with her, and I'm not giving her any mixed signals. She just won't let it go. She's so determined to cause me trouble. Am I the idiot for not wanting to get back to my wife after separation? You are the idiot, dude. You aren't being honest with her. You're only telling her that she's better off without you. And even if you believe that's true, it isn't why you don't want to get back together with her. It is sending her mixed messages, because when she sees you making changes she'd been asking you to make, she probably feels hopeful that you guys can move forward. She doesn't have the insight because you haven't communicated that with her. Tell her that you also feel like you are a better version of yourself when you're not in that marriage. Now is your chance to not be a man-child for real. Grow up. Tell her the truth. Jesus, I can see why she kicked him out. The fact that he thinks he's all grown up now is honestly just absurd. He's happier single because he cleans for himself, etc. While he lived there, it was all about him too. Now he doesn't want to be the bad guy by being honest. Man-child has no guts at all, and he doesn't want to leave his wife. He wants her to divorce him so he can play the victim. Yeah, it was all the wife's fault for nagging. Oh my God, she was nagging, when at the very beginning, he admitted he absolutely was a man-child. It wasn't until he actually had to clean up after himself, but to him, it just made sense. No, jerk, you lost your intimacy maid. No one's gonna do it unless you get up off your lazy butt, put the controller down, and actually do it yourself. The only thing he's done is prove that he could have been helping her that whole time and chose not to. And he's been blaming her for everything no matter what, because he never actually grew up. I realized my wife is a bad partner. Man, she wasn't a bad partner. She was your crutch. She carried the whole family on her back while you played video games. She is better off without you. I had 2 weekends a month of custody of my kids. Not that I didn't fight for equal custody, but I lost. I decided to give up custody of my kids because I was bleeding money. I was paying a lot of money on rent, and coupled with child support, it was not sustainable for me in the long run. I gave up the rest of the physical custody. It did increase my child support by 10%, but that was way below what I was paying for rent. I moved to my parents' basement to save some money. That's when the tide started turning in my favor. One of my coworkers, let's call him Richard, wanted a cheap place to rent, and I convinced my parents to let him rent their basement and let me stay in my childhood bedroom, aka a new gym room. It wasn't easy and a lot to ask, but I was able to show a somewhat concrete financial plan. For 2 years, Richard, now my best friend, rented my parents' basement, and I lived with my parents in my old room. My parents sacrificed to let me stay for 2 years. I saved a lot of money by not spending on anything other than food. I didn't buy any clothes, not even underwear, never went on a vacation, and never went anywhere that would require any kind of money. I was not able to qualify for a mortgage because of child support obligation, so I took my savings and my parents combined it with rent money from my coworker to put a down payment on a house. I've lived in that house for 6 years now. I rent it from my parents because they take normal rent from me and pay the mortgage, and the rest goes into a fund for me. I got a roommate too, so technically, I live for free. This has helped me to save a lot of money. My parents are still renting their basement, as they felt lonely after Richard and I left. Richard also bought a house in my neighborhood. All in all, life was difficult, but now it's good. I've saved a lot of money, and I'm planning a comfortable retirement. So after 6 years, I finally have discretionary money to spend. So I took a week off from work last year and traveled with my girlfriend, and I flaunted it on social media. My ex-wife suddenly started texting me that I was a deadbeat. I never missed a child support payment, and selfish, as I should have taken the kids on vacation. When I gave up the custody, I would have to beg her to let me talk to my kids. I remember the day when she asked for more money and refused to let me talk to my kids if I didn't give it to her. That was the last day I ever contacted her or my kids, so I didn't think she would even let me take the kids on vacation. I wrote about my journey to show that it wasn't easy to reach the place I am now, but I made it by sacrifice on my part and my parents' part. I have a house and money that I earned for myself. I should be able to flaunt it and enjoy it as I please. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. You gave up custody. She won't let me talk to my kids is like the deadbeat dad motto. If you kept custody like a decent person, she legally could not keep you from them. But you gave up custody and blamed her for your predicament. Yeah, this doesn't even make sense. What was the point of fighting for custody if you were just going to throw away your time anyway? If you were given every other weekend, you had secured access to your kids. It makes no sense for you to have thrown that away. Have you saved any money towards your kids' future? Or is that based on your ex letting you see them? And while congratulations on rebuilding your life, are you suspiciously vague as to why you split with your ex? And it's Richard's money and your parents' generosity that rebuilt you, not your hard work. Not the idiot for going on holiday and posting it on social media, as that was the question. You are, however, a massive idiot for abandoning your kids. You had custody for 2 weekends per month, which you gave up. Why couldn't you continue seeing your kids while living with your parents? Your ex is right. You are a deadbeat father. Even though you pay your child support every month, you chose not to contact your kids for 6 years. The worst part, you're so darn proud of this. I really hope your ex is remarried and they call her husband dad. I, 30 female, lost my husband 4 years ago. We share 2 children. Our son is a tween and our daughter is a young grammar schooler. Since my husband's death, I've focused on myself and my children, and I have no interest in dating or finding another husband. My mom had experience with this when my sister and I were children, young grammar schoolers. We lost our dad, and our mom remarried 15 months later. At the time, she told us we were getting a new dad. Once her husband arrived, there was no expectation and pressure to call him dad, and our mom took down all photos of dad. We, my sister and I, took some photos of dad and hid them with our friends out of fear Mom would destroy or throw them all away. She didn't, but the ones we didn't take were locked in storage and have never seen the light of day. My sister asked for them occasionally and was told she didn't need them. Our dad's stuff is likely in there too, if they weren't tossed into the garbage. It caused a lot of strain between us and our mom. For the last 2 years, my mom has been dropping hints that I should get back out there, and I always said that I didn't want to, or I would ignore it. Then a couple of months ago, she told me I needed to get my kids a dad before it was too late, that I needed a husband. I told her they have a dad who doesn't need replacing. She dropped it for another few weeks, but then she brought it up to me last week. She told me the kids need a dad and I need a husband around, or I'll be alone and lonely for the rest of my life. She told me I couldn't remain dedicated to being my husband's wife for the rest of my life. She said I'm too young and the kids are too young to never get another dad. I told her I don't want another husband and my kids don't need another dad. She asked me where would I be if she had that mindset and I didn't have a dad. I told her I lost my dad at 6 and miss him every day, and I never had another one. Things escalated from there, and she asked me how I could say that when her husband had been my dad for 24 years. I told her he never has been and never will be, and just because she replaced my dad doesn't mean I want to replace my husband. Mom was furious and told me that wasn't fair and that I should understand her better. I told her I understood her even less after losing my husband because I would never remove all traces of him from the home, and I would never deny my kids his things the way she did. I would never force my kids to call someone else dad, and I told her I couldn't even imagine wanting to find them someone else to call dad. I told her they had an amazing dad, and he's still their dad, just the way mine will always be my dad. She called me spiteful and selfish, and she went to my sister for backup, but she told her she feels the same way. My aunt, who's my mom's sister, told me I shouldn't have said what I did, and accusing her of replacing my dad instead of just seeing that she wanted us happy is cruel, and I'm old enough that I should understand. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Off the top, I'm sorry for your loss, and I hope your kids keep getting to know their dad through your and other loved ones' memories of him. There is some validity in your mom saying you shouldn't have to feel like you need to live as your husband's widow forever. You can treasure that love and also find new love. But your mom is majorly overstepping. Your kids don't need a father. They need role models in their lives, and you don't need to be married to that person for them to be a positive influence. It's clear your mom was scared to be alone, but her fear had a profound impact on you that wasn't positive, and she's old enough to understand that her choices have consequences. Honey, you mustn't repeat your mother's mistakes to validate her feelings. Your mom should have never tried to replace your dad. The way she handled your childhood was unhealthy for you and for her. It sounds like you're just now getting a chance to get these pent-up feelings out, and your mom's probably very defensive because she's either in denial about how much your actions mess with you or too upset to understand how much your actions mess with you. It's good that you were able to get it out there. My friend has been married for a year now to her firefighter husband. She's the only one in the friend group that is married. I usually host dinners every couple of months, and we'll do a late one for the holidays on Friday. I usually invite him, but money's gotten tight due to the holidays, and he eats so much. I understand why, but it always results in me doubling the recipes or running out of food. So this time I told everyone that I just wanted to do a girls' night. This means my friend's husband is not invited. If he isn't there, there's enough food for everyone without the double recipes. She called me up asking why I was doing a girls' night. I told her the truth that I couldn't afford to make double for dinner, and her husband ate a lot. She called me a jagoff, and now she's telling my friends why. Everyone is split, and no one offers to help with the food bill. So, am I the idiot? Is he insisting on more food? You also didn't need to tell her the real reason if you didn't want to, and you've probably made him feel crappy. To be honest, if money is tight, maybe don't host dinners. Or ask everyone to bring a dish. Then you have to pay for less, and they can double up their recipe. You are the idiot, and should probably just have told the group it's getting expensive. You are happy to host, but bringing dishes and contributing to the cost would help, instead of singling out one person and making them feel guilty for eating. Still, I understand that times are tough and money's tight for everyone, so it can be really difficult, so I do feel for you in that sense. I offered the group the option to Venmo me some money or change it to a potluck. They don't agree. He eats 2 to 3 servings. He eats more than everyone else, so if I don't double it, some of the girls will be hungry if he gets his fill, since he'll eat it all. Another option is he's still hungry, which seems to be a no, since that happened the first time, and everyone was upset. He sounds like an extremely rude dinner guest. I wouldn't invite him to my home either. When I go spend time with friends who are tight on funds, I make sure to bring my own food or expect to pay for pizza or something. I'd never expect them to fund my meals, particularly if I knew I was a big eater. You are not the idiot. And friend and husband should have chipped in with a big side dish of something and a bottle of wine. How do 2 people think that they're regularly going to dinner at someone's house and not contributing? Husband has no manners, but OP let it go on for too long. The husband shouldn't have been there to begin with. You did nothing wrong in arranging a smaller party to manage cost. Your friend just sounds entitled and ridiculous. Oh man, I had a weekend guest once. I made this nice pot roast for dinner and was going to serve the leftovers for lunch the next day. It seemed reasonable since it was the 3 of us and a baby, and he wasn't a bodybuilder or anything, large framed but an IT guy. He kept saying how good the meal was, and then he ate half of the pot roast in one sitting, you guys. I had to scramble to figure out lunch, and we're low-budget farm people who make everything from scratch. And I have to say, it was a factor in not going out of my way to invite him again. He's still a good friend, but not every friend is a good house guest. I am very, very frustrated. My son has been married to my daughter-in-law for 3 years now. I've always made extra dishes that didn't include meat to accommodate her. No matter how much it was a pain to do, I always made sure she had options to eat when I hosted, or she was over. She's a vegetarian and at one point tried to go vegan. My son and she never hosted due to living in a small apartment, but that changed as they just bought a home. They're having dinner this week, and I called her to remind her that I'm allergic to nuts. She then informed me that she didn't have time and told me to bring my own food. She told me that she cooks with a lot of different nuts and can't adjust her menu. This is where I might be the jerk. I told her I wouldn't be going, and neither would my husband. I've accommodated her for years, and I've never made her bring her food. This started an argument where she thought I was being unreasonable. My husband is on my side, but she and my son are very upset. Not the idiot. Allergies are not food critiques. You can die from a bad reaction. The fact you were accommodating her dietary request, and then she's completely dismissive of your actual needs, is absurd. Definitely don't go to dinner when the chef is blasé about trying to kill you. You accommodated her, even when her accommodations weren't necessary, and dependent on the nut allergy, you could just die being around them. The utter disregard for someone's safety is wild to me. Nuts aren't even used as the main ingredients in most foods, so not subbing out is wild to me. The idea that she can't change the menu because of a significant allergy is giving off the vibe that she did this intentionally.